the name of our show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Large Glass. I'm Todd.
I'm Terri.
And welcome to our 1-year anniversary, which we're really proud of.
We are.
Look, there's Ben Hagenbush and
Hi.
Mom. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have...
It's kind of all of our anniversary because we've all been doing this for a year.
We've all been together with all of you for a year. There's Carolyn Thau and Pumpkin
Carolyn.
Audrey. Happy anniversary from both of them. Thank you.
Thank
By
you.
the way, Audrey brought over the nicest basket with Prosecco and chocolate and some other drinks in it.
Yeah.
And there's John Park and Dave.
Hi,
Thank you
hello.
both. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I feel there's Jess Park. Happy
Hello.
1 year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good about
Yeah,
this.
I am too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice to finally be at this point.
Yeah.
4 more to go. Then we're done. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I don't think we ever had an end limit on it. I think we're just going to do it because it's fun.
I don't want to have an end limit on it. I want to do this. I'm opening Prosecco.
Prosecco.
Pumpkin Audrey brought over Prosecco.
Yes.
And thank you, Audrey, for that. That was so sweet. And it's going to take me a little while.
Is this one of the twisty things? Or is
This is a
little...
twist off. I'm not going to fire this thing off into the stratosphere. So how we all doing? I
Yes.
hope you're celebrating with us and
Yes.
having an appropriate
What are y'all drinking?
celebratory cocktail.
Yes, little celebratory Tuesday night cocktail.
We got stuff to give away.
We've got quite a few things to give away.
What do we got?
Well, we've got pins. They're in. I still haven't sent them out yet to our winners, but that's my project for this week. But they're actually they're beautiful. Todd designed them. We only have a limited edition, so once they're gone, they're gone. I think we're going to be a little bit cavalier tonight about giving them away.
Yes, and they're also up on the brand new website, which I'm very happy to say is live and in person, but Terry's holding up the pin.
I don't know if you guys
The green
can
screen's
see.
going to mess with it a little bit, but I could give you a better peek at it over here behind my head.
Yeah, they're really sweet.
They are
Beautiful.
on the website. They are $10, which I think is quite a fair number for a really beautiful enamel pin.
Or you could just win one.
Or you could win one tonight. Now
Yeah.
tonight we've got lots of different ways to win.
Yes.
We've got trivia.
Yes.
We've got more.
We have some guessing games.
Some guessing games.
Test your knowledge.
But we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
A good time.
Yes. Oh, this was so nice.
All right, now we got
See,
a
I
little.
was thinking of a little summery drink tonight, but this is awesome.
This is perfect.
I don't know why I didn't think of celebratory stuff.
And first of all, I got to turn off this.
Hmm.
And I think that before. Oh, look, Jess Park, Prosecco. Dave
Ooh.
Schmidt, Prosecco. There's Boo Jazz. Thanks, Boo
Yes,
Jazz. Thanks for that.
thank
Happy
you.
anniversary. Carolyn Thau says, I wear mine proudly because Carolyn has a pin.
Yes.
And she got that pin for making that donation to the Breaking AIDS Ride.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who made the donations to the Breaking AIDS Ride, they're going
Thank
out
you
in the
very
mail.
much.
Thank you
Yes,
for that.
The t-shirts should be all out, so they should be on their way if you haven't gotten them already.
Before we clink these glasses
Yes.
for this toast,
Yeah.
can we show them something?
Sure.
All right. Before we toast, let's have a look at this. I just realized I don't think you have any sound on that, do you? Wait a minute, Boo Jazz, we're drinking Koval whiskey in your honor.
Oh,
That's really
thank
nice.
you.
Hold on, let me hook up. Just give me a half a second there. That ought to do it.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, so nice.
Here's to a 5th episode. Here's to 1 month.
Happy Halloween.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy
Halloween. You know,
Cheers.
yeah, cheers. Here we go. This is called self-medication tonight. Cheers.
Cheers.
Is this episode 9? Cheers.
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 Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is episode 12.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Woohoo.
Woohoo. So here's to tonight. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to a good show tonight.
Good.
Go to hell, 2020. Welcome, 2021.
I think we're all waiting for you to say that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, here's to tonight's show.
Tonight's show.
Here's to all of you. Happy New Year
Happy
to everybody.
New Year. Yeah.
And cheers.
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 All right. Episode 20. Cheers. Everyone is here with us.
Yes, it's tonight's
cheers.
show, number 21.
Yeah. Here's to episode 22. Valentine's couples.
Yeah.
And
Cheers.
cheers. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Fat Tuesday.
Happy Fat Tuesday.
24. We're really proud of that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody grab a drink.
Yes.
Episode 25. Here's to 25 more and more because we want to keep going.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice work.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to all of you.
Cheers to all
Hope you're
of you.
enjoying something as well with us. Thank you
Cheers.
for this. We love working with you guys.
Glad to.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy episode 28.
Happy episode 28.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is awesome. Cheers to you,
Cheers, Christina.
Christina Sarace McKinnon.
That's right.
Nice to see you. We're going to get to her soon. Don't worry. She's here. Hey,
Hey,
happy 30.
happy 30.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to all of you. Thanks for hanging out with us for 30 episodes.
30
This is like
episodes.
6 months. Here's to all of our followers, subscribers, supporters that keep coming back. We really appreciate
We
that.
do.
So cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. All of our followers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Here. Cheers.
Cheers. This is episode 34.
4.
Yeah. Happy Star Wars Day.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers to all of you. All right.
Oh,
Well,
Victoria.
here's to Terry's neckline. And to episode
Episode
38. I'm
Yes.
excited. Boom. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Let us know what you're drinking in the chat. Cheers. Episode
Cheers.
39.
1381.
Were you born yet?
Yes. But thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right, I'm going to take these ridiculous glasses off. Awesome.
This is very cool.
All right. Cheers to
Cheers.
all of you. Let us know what you're drinking in the chat. I'll try and get to the bottom of that.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice. But cheers to all of you. Let us know what you're drinking in the chat. We'd love
All of you.
Cheers. Episode 44.
Cheers.
We're really excited about this.
44.
Cheers.
Kind of fun. Cheers.
Cheers to you. Love to hear. And cheers.
Cheers.
This is about that. Cheers.
I am too. Cheers.
Cheers to all of you. Tell us what you're drinking in the chat, even though most of you already have. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you guys. Nice to
Cheers.
have you here tonight. Thanks. Not that I want to sort of delay the toast, but when we first started out a long time ago, I was talking to Terri. I was like, look, I think we should be consistent. I think we should do this every week. I think we should not miss a show. And Terry's like, that's unreasonable. We're going to miss a show. I mean, to say that we're going to do this every single week. And I was just like, no, I really want to make a goal where we don't miss a show. Good job. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to all of you. Cheers, everybody. Nice to see you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks to all of you for coming. Cheers. We're going to give this a little bit of a try. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, Jess Park has the Shipyard
Ooh.
Pumpkin Head. And
I
it's-
love a good pumpkin beer, and I actually really like the Shipyard one.
I almost got you a pumpkin. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that. It's like,
You sure have had a lot of alcohol on
yeah,
the show.
so tonight's donations will support the Betty Ford Clinic for the two.
Oh my.
1 year, episode 56. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to all of you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you all. You know, one of the things I liked about that so much is you really see how the learning curve for making this show has gone. There are moments when I'm like as red as a beet, and it's really just about lighting or about, how the overlay on the screen was set up, and in some we're really cramped, and in some we feel really comfortable. And it's really kind of funny. Camera
Yeah.
angles were all different.
Oh yeah. Well, we were just starting out and experimenting and all that good stuff. So
There's
yep.
a bunch of things we missed. So first of all, Mom is drinking vodka with elderberry and pear. Pumpkin Audrey has
Ooh.
Sauvignon Blanc. Carolyn Thau has that Bellini, which I got to tell you, I had some of that Bellini this weekend. It's really, really good.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, oh wow, John Park gifting the tier 1 subs to everybody.
Oh,
That's
Thank
awesome.
you very much.
Awesome.
That's great.
Thank you so much. That is really sweet. So let's see. Let's do a giveaway right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
You guys want to do a giveaway? All right, now for this giveaway, oh, there's Shirley.
Hey.
How's it going? For this first giveaway, we're going to be giving away one of the pins. Okay, now this one's going to be a little bit of large glass sort of trivia. Okay, we're going to be doing a little throwback. You're going to have to, I'm going to put an image up on the screen, and you're going to have to guess the artist that image is of, who made that work. And it is from one of our episodes. Okay, I'm not going to tell you which one, but I am going to put that up there right now. Now, the first person to type the name of the artist in the chat wins the pin. Okay, that's the way it goes. Here we go. Get those fingers ready. Who painted that? Let's see. We'll leave it up there for maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And we'll see if you get it. Someone's going to get it.
Someone's
going to get it.
Surely.
Okay. So what else do we have tonight? We've got to do a featured supporter.
Yes.
We have news, we have birthdays, we have a
news,
regular show
stuff.
for you guys,
Yeah.
sort of peppered with other kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
No one is typing it in. No one. People are going back to the archive furiously.
We knew that this one's going to be a hard
That's
one,
okay.
to be fair.
If they want to go back through the archive, either over on YouTube or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But who painted that? First one to type it in the chat wins one of our enamel pins.
Yes.
Now, if you've already won an enamel pin, why not go ahead and win another one? Because I think scarcity's cool.
They're fun.
Right? You want to be a pin hoarder? That's fine.
There's only so many of them, and you can do the whole, 99
Now, while we're waiting,
bottles of,
99, yeah, that's actually cool.
There aren't 99 of these, though. Maybe our next edition we're going to get 99 of so that you can collect the whole thing.
Here's what we're going to do with these. Each quarter or so, depending on how long it takes us to run out, I'm going to design a new glass. So we're thinking about doing a martini glass next time.
You can have a bar on your jacket.
We're going to do a wine glass. We're going to do different bottles of beer, different bottles of different types of liqueurs, alcohols, hard liquors, all of those things. Maybe like a tumbler, like a rocks tumbler, or a snifter. And then each one is going to have a limited edition. Now, we only got 50 of these, okay? And once they're gone, they're gone. We will not do the beer glass like this again. Then we move on to the next design. So get one while you can, because what's going to happen is if you guys stick with this show for 3 or 4 years, we're going to have produced a whole bunch of these, and you're going to want to have...
We have a winner.
We have a winner of the pin, Mr. Boojazz. Nice job. Amy Silman.
Amy Silman.
And I got to tell you,
Yeah.
we had some trouble with that episode.
That was a real learning experience.
It was.
It was.
We cut our teeth on that one because before Amy Silman, we had primarily done work that was representational.
Right.
Work that was...
She was our first dive into abstract.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not the easiest thing to start off with.
It's the type of thing you and I can talk about.
Yeah.
But when we're trying to sort of talk about it in a way that has we want our viewers to kind of walk away learning something or
Right.
feeling like they've gained something.
Right.
And I think that's a different kind of experience
It
that
is.
we're trying to give
And
them
now
with
we
that.
talk about abstract all the time because actually I think because of that show, I think we learned so much doing that show that's why we're very comfortable just going for it now.
I agree. All right, so Boojazz, nice job. We got to get Boojazz written down.
Okay.
Now, I got to say one more thing before we move on. I'm going to go back to our other screen. I mentioned snifter because I thought it'd be cool to design a snifter with like a tiny little bit of brandy in it. And while the Prosecco's good, I gotta move on to, I'm going to save the Prosecco for you. So I'm going to enjoy the wrench. Because I love the wrench. 63 recommended the wrench. But I'm going to put it in a glass.
Oh, sure.
A large glass.
Okay.
And the large glass was given to me by my good friend, Dan Ruland. Now, Dan saw this glass at a yard sale, took a picture of it and said, I think you need this for the large glass. So I'm just going to, I got to pour my beer first. So hold on a second. Well, if I put brandy in this snifter... Oh, there's 63.
Hey!
Hi, 63. Yes, the wrench. Love the wrench. And the wrench is even better when it's in this. This just opens it up. It smells.
Oh my God.
It's got a really good aroma.
It's like a whirlpool going
Right?
on
It's
in
like-
there.
I can put my whole head inside this, which I really actually quite like. As far as ASMR goes, I can't tell how this is going, but I feel like
This is appropriate for a 1-year anniversary
Yes,
glass.
the large glass.
This is the
The
largest,
largest
glass.
glass.
Thank you, Dan Rulin, for my friend. Excuse me for 1 minute.
my.
Luke, I am your father.
All right, enough of that.
Wow, indeed.
Let's try to appreciate a supporter tonight.
Let's
So
do
on
that.
our 1-year anniversary,
1 year.
I need to clear that. How do I clear that? Let's do this. Not that. Let's do this. Let's go back to that. We have to get her off of there. We have to lose Amy Silman for a little while. Sorry, Amy. Thanks. All right, so our featured supporter tonight goes back to an earlier episode of the show. We had her on live. She was a pretty awesome guest.
She was.
And I ran into her this weekend, but we are going to appreciate, and I didn't take the text off the screen, but thank you, Christina Ray Mack, or Christina Sriracha McKinnon, for your support. You're doing awesome out there. We love seeing your work popping up all the time, and we love having you watch the show. I know your bandwidth over there at the house isn't really always the best for picking our show up, but when you're here, you can be, and we love that. So thank you very much for that. And the screen is all bunk, but we'll make it work. All right, so thanks to her. What's everybody saying? A fishbowl. Ben's like a fishbowl. I think that would be better with a betta fish in it. I don't agree.
Possibly.
I don't agree. Okay, let's pop in and do... You want to do news?
We could do news.
Carolyn says Christina rocks. Christina does rock.
For sure.
All right, let's see. Let's jump into some news. I've got some cool things to show you on the news tonight. Let's see what we... All right, so for news tonight, first and foremost, this news comes on the heels of, we had a George Barugi show last week, if you remember correctly. George Barugi paints these beautiful, enormous paintings of birds. He's very heavily involved with the Audubon Society, and he is an advocate for, bird awareness and climate change. And so this story appeared on the very Tuesday that we were doing the show on George, but it was a little too late to get this into last week's show. So you're looking at an image of the World Trade Center, and the reason you are is because on that Tuesday, 226 migratory birds were found dead near and around the base of the World Trade Center. Now, this is an astonishing number, and there were some bird conservationists who were told about this, made it to the scene, gathered them, cataloged them, and these pictures showed up in news media everywhere. Now, this is really, really striking image here to think that, this can happen in a single night. But here's the thing. First of all, there's a very simple solution to stopping this, and that simply is turn off the lights in the building at night, right? But I guess when you own one of the world's most, glorious skyscrapers, you want it to be part of the nighttime skyline, and you leave them on. And the call to turn off building lights in the name of saving migratory birds has gone unanswered. Hopefully, that will start to change after an image like this. But I will tell you this, that due to buildings like that and lights, especially around migration seasons, but year-round, up to, this is a 2019 study that was done, up to 1 billion with a B, birds die by striking those windows. Now, is this art news? Not necessarily, but on the heels of George Barugi, I thought it was important that we do this story because I find that to be totally unacceptable. So, for what it's worth, this happened. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing is, over the weekend, I had the pleasure of going to Whittemore, which is in Oldwick, New Jersey, Whittemore is an old estate that has been converted into a place of culture and conservation. Carolyn Thau directs the Whittemore establishment and does a fantastic job of bringing in different shows, musicians, public sculpture. A lot goes on there, and it's actually become a really awesome element in the community. So while I was there, I was checking out a show called No Filter, featuring the works of Val Civilli and Kathleen Thompson. I did a little quick video on them. Just want you to watch that. It talks a little bit about the work in the show and about them as artists. So let me just pull that up for a second. It's going to take a sec, and we can look at that. Let's have a look at this.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Thau. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Director of Whittemore Community Culture and Conservation right here in Tewksbury, or Old Wick, New Jersey. And we're a cultural and educational facility that likes to say we have something for everyone. I'm so excited about this show. This has been a culmination of the last, basically us celebrating 5 years. And Kathleen Thompson has been involved and is our partner and liaison with the 100 in Art Tour. Val Civilli, I met through Kathleen, became our director of the arts. And it just made so much sense to have them curate a show.
Oh, my name's Val Civilli, and I'm an artist and educator. I live in Hunterdon County, and I grapple often with the inner beast.
I am Kathleen Thompson. I have lived in Hunterdon County my entire life. I've had a career in the nonprofit sector and as a business owner, but I'm also, I guess, what you would call an emerging artist. And I'm a writer and printmaker, currently creating a photographic series called Upward Gaze that explores the ever-changing sky under which we all exist.
I only take photos with my iPhone. And so, you know, it's the idea that I'm using this technology where, you know, we're all like this with it. And I wanted to take it and use it to look up. And to really, to pull people's attention upward. Because I think that a lot of us don't take the time to do that.
I think our hope was that we were going to be able to find a section of the tree that was being confronted face to face, which is kind of what my work has been about, just like this kind of face to face, you know, human scale confrontation, and what was directly above, which got tricky to do in the dense part of, you know, in the density of the woods. I put out my photographs and I'm like, wait, you keep photographing the same thing over and over again. You just keep photographing these trees that are so beautiful straight on. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's something here. So then I started to realize that they're not the same photograph, that every tree in every situation was entirely different. And then I started seeing them as individuals the way that I was seeing the animals that I was painting. So it started to kind of make a connection to me that way. And I think then there was that natural connection with Kathleen's work. I just had a thought. Hey baby, I'm the bottom, you're the top.
Right. Val's the bottom and I'm the top.
Okay, so a great show at Whittemore. I definitely recommend getting over there to see it if you can. If you can't make it over there, you can always check out more information about the show at whittemoreccc.org. And let's see. So we had some comments that were going on. Let me pop back to our main window. Include Terri in this picture. We had some comments going in the main window during the news. Boojaz says, Jamie toasts you for bringing up the issue with the migrating birds. Toast to you back. Yes. Serious. 63 says, one of the biggest problems is that the glass reflects the sky and the birds can't tell the difference, so it's building windows themselves. Wonder what the best solution might be. Take these buildings down? Doubtful. That's very true. But
actually, at nighttime, Alan Wexler's idea would have worked best.
Alan Wexler did have an idea about
He
that.
did.
That's a really good
It
point.
wasn't necessarily in relation to the birds, but he had this whole design for turning down the blinds. And he had thought to incorporate designs into it. It could be advertising slogans. It could be a whole bunch of different things. But there were detailed instructions for the cleaning crew at night to turn that down. I wonder if something like that could be implemented, which would solve the environmental issue that's happening right now.
Correct. I think that's actually a really good point. And on top of that, a majority of the birds are put off course at night when they are thrown off by the bright lights from the city. So it is a combination. The lighting would certainly help. Right. And given that it's going totally ignored, makes me doubtful. And Val Civilli's here. She says, "Ha, you did it. Nice job." Thanks. Thank you. For night, that sounds good. Yeah, I think that's great. So we got to get with Alan Wexler on this one. And he's going to be on our show live in November, by the way. We did a show on him recently. We really enjoyed talking about him. We decided to have him come on so that he could kind of, keep the conversation going. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Carolyn thanks us for doing the commercial. You're welcome. It's not a commercial. It's more of just like I really enjoyed that.
Short.
It's a short. Yeah, it's a short. Okay, that's enough for news.
Yes.
Let's hit up some birthdays.
Hit up some birthdays.
Let's see. Let's start off. I think we're gonna have a problem with our text here because I've got the whole. I'm so excited about our
1 year.
Our 1 year anniversary
Let's
up there.
just keep that up.
Let's leave the whole mess up there.
Just leave that up.
Why not? Leave it there. All right, tell us who we're dealing with here.
Who we're dealing with. Her birthday's tomorrow. This is Alma Woodsy Thomas. She was born on September 22nd in 1891, African-American artist. A lot of her paintings look like mosaics to me. I absolutely love them. She was an abstract expressionist. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All right, moving on.
Moving on. This is Louise Nevelson. Birthday is September 23rd in 1899. She was a sculptor. Lots of her sculptures dealt with the outdoors. Some of them are monochromatic. Some of them are very large. Some of them are on the wall or coming off the wall. So she has a birthday coming up. Modern art, abstract, cubism, American artist.
I have a fantastic Louise Nevelson story.
He's looking at me like he does.
I have to take a second to tell my Louise Nevelson story. I used to, when I was in my undergrad, I used to work for a museum that shall go unnamed. This museum was a great, really good institution. Had a fantastic collection.
Yeah.
And had an off-site storage facility as well as the on-site museum. And we used to shuttle works back and forth to that on a regular basis. There was a certain chief curator that always, and also shall go unnamed, and also a very dear person, and I actually really enjoyed their company quite a bit. So if that person should ever stumble upon this video, I still listen to that same radio station we used to listen to. But anyway, we were unloading a truckload of stuff, and on that truck was a Louise Nevelson sculpture, a tall one, like very kind of totemic, like meant for a pedestal. Probably about, I'm going to say 3 feet tall. Not huge, like this. And it was in the truck, unwrapped, uncrated, just kind of held in by some stuff.
Teetering on the edge.
Yes. So he was helping us unload the truck. And we're white gloved, very careful, very sort of. And one thing you always have to remember on a truck with a roll-up door on the back is when the roll-up door goes up, it comes back a little bit. So you don't have the full height of the ceiling of the truck as you're exiting.
Yes.
Well, he picked this Louise Nevelson sculpture up and walked straight off the truck. The top of it struck the door, and it just broke into all of its pieces, which tumbled down the long ramp all over the ground, and I just turned my back.
Yes.
Walked back. I was like,
oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe it. All right, enough of that.
It's not a good story. So happy birthday.
Who's this?
This is Mark Rothko. So his birthday is September 25th. He was born in 1903, I believe. My handwriting is kind of bad sometimes. We know him for his color field paintings and the energy that comes out of them. I do remember our episode on Will Barnett. He taught Mark Rothko. He did enjoy talking about him as an artist. But abstract expressionist, surrealist, modern art, minimalism, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mark Rothko. All right, moving right along.
Yes. I'm going to need some correction on the pronunciation of his last name. This is Theodore
Jericho.
Jericho. September 26, 1791. He's a painter, lithographer, French, known for his romantic subject material, a little bit of realism. So happy birthday.
Oh, wait, I forgot to put the picture up.
Oh, yes, look at that.
Talk about romantic.
Yes, very romantic.
Oh, wait. 60. Glenn's here. Jerry Curl.
Jerry Curl. Oh, I did mispronounce it.
It's actually a really good phonetics approach
Jerry
there.
Curl, yes.
All right, here we go. This is somebody that I threw in here because of John and Jess Park.
Yes.
I
for
thought
sure.
this was one that
They've been waiting for us to do a photographer, and we have them coming up. We just haven't gotten to them yet. So, but we think of you every single week, and we're like, we still haven't done that photographer yet. So.
Glenn, I knew you were kidding, but I get it.
Oh yeah, we know.
Yeah. So John, Jess, this one's for you.
This is
Mr. Gregory Crutzen, and I would really love to do a show on him and several other photographers, but I'm still waiting for that suggestion from you guys. But needless to say,
Yes.
This is his birthday.
This is his birthday. It's September 26th, 1962. Photographer, American. He usually photographs American neighborhoods and homes, but he's got his own take on that. So happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, Gregory. Okay,
Yes.
that's all for birthdays
That's
tonight.
all for birthdays.
And I'm going to pop back over to here because I want to give away another pin.
Let's give away another pin.
Let's see. We're going to throw another piece of art up on the screen. And the first person to type this in the chat wins that piece of art.
So you have to guess the artist.
Yes, the artist.
The
I don't know what I said, but I think I was meaning
You
to
probably
say
said that.
the artist. All right, here we go. First one to type it in wins the pin. Who made this? Who made this? I can hear the Jeopardy music. I wish I could play the Jeopardy
too.
music.
We should get kazoos and play it, or recorders.
Oh my God, that's
Oh my
brilliant!
God.
Jess Park just won with Moo Pan
You
fast on the
go.
keyboard.
Very nice.
Bam.
Very good.
All 5 letters in a space.
Awesome.
Boom. All right, Jess Park won the second pin.
Nice.
Moo Pan. Nice. Okay. Let's see. We can talk one last time about. We always talk about support. How should we talk about? We can talk about support tonight, right? All right. 2 things regarding support for the show. Okay. The first thing is I don't think anybody knew that if they had Amazon Prime, if you are a Prime subscriber, you can actually link your Prime account to your Twitch login, okay? And by doing that, you can subscribe to the channel, meaning gives us financial support for the show, and you don't have to spend anything. Because what happens is Twitch gets a portion of what you pay in Prime dues, takes it away from Amazon,
Who, by the way, might be their parent company, but we won't point that out right now.
and then gives it to us. So why give all that money to Amazon when you can use that money to support the show?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
link your Prime account. Second thing, we also love Patreon. And if you sign up for Patreon tonight, we'll throw a pin in. All right? So you'll get a pin for going on Patreon tonight. All new Patreon subscribers get a pin.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough
We're
of
just
that.
giving those pins away
Well,
tonight.
I want to move on to the next pin design.
I do too. I love it when things become obsolete and we move on.
and
then-
people are like, damn, I wish I had that first pin.
Yes.
I wish I had that.
I love it.
Let's see. John says she bought the book.
Yes.
And Pumpkin Audrey
So-
says, I told you that the Parks will win.
I'm thinking of buying the book. Do you know why I'm thinking of buying the book? Because we have a signed copy. Do you think I can see the book if it's signed? No, it gets taken away and locked away in the cabinet, so I have no clue. So I'm thinking of buying the book. We have it, I just can't look at it. But I digress. Next.
Look, it's an important thing to have a signed book.
Yes,
it should be taken
I know.
care of.
We've got lots of signed books that I can't touch. It's like, look at this. So, some of them are awesome, though. We have some really cool signed books. That's
Yes.
one of the things we collect, so works out good.
Yes. All right.
Your mom said to give me the book, you big bully.
Carolyn Thau says you can borrow hers. Perfect. Now we don't have to open the book. Thanks, Carolyn. Thank you.
Thanks.
You don't want to crack that spine. You want that to be...
But I'm good with books.
You're very good with books. You are.
I am.
You're a treasurer of books. You love a good read. I get that. I get that. And I don't want to be a bully. So if you want to go ahead and completely devalue that beautiful book that we have, you go right ahead and open it.
Yes. Actually, he once bought me a signed book for Christmas by a very prominent figure, but he bought me a second copy so I could read that one and just look at the other one. That was a smart idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't get you a second copy of the one I bought you the previous Christmas.
No.
That was hard to get.
Yeah.
She likes autographed books.
Yes.
Jess asks, what if you wear the gloves?
I know, but it's still cracking the spine.
Maybe.
So he gets
Maybe.
a little worried about that whole thing. So
All right. Why don't we move on to our artists, because
moving on.
we got a lot to do.
We do.
We've got some artists to talk about tonight, and one of the things our anniversary falls on,
Yes.
summer's over.
This is the last day of summer, the last evening. When you wake up tomorrow, happy fall.
Oh, that's right. Today is actually the
It's
last
the
day.
last
Tomorrow's
day.
the first day of fall.
Tomorrow's the first day of autumn. Yep. I'm sorry, but you look ridiculous with that glass.
And that makes me happy. That makes me happy.
Okay.
So should we want to get an artist up?
Let's go. Let's get an artist. Now, are we going in a particular order tonight, or we're just going to fly?
I think we play it by ear. We had said that there was an order we wanted, and this was the gentleman who was going to come out on top.
Okay.
So we can start with Mr. Ken Rush.
Mr. Ken Rush. So we have mentioned him on the show before. He's a fantastic artist. He spends half of his time in New York and half of his time in Vermont. I'm just pulling up his stuff right here. Graduate of Taft and Syracuse U in Fine Arts. So for the show, let me just give you a little bit of background, because we were thinking of just doing a show based on what we've done this past year, but after talking, we love talking about upcoming artists, and I didn't even want to skip a beat for something like our anniversary show. So it was really important to try to pull together a theme to talk about or look at some really awesome artists like we always do. And since it's the end of summer, and I've been seeing a couple of these artists flying by all summer long that I've always loved, I just thought it was a good idea to tie them all together for our big old summer wind down party. So Ken Rush is one of those. He has been working on this series since the 1970s. He has been absolutely enchanted with pools. They've kind of been this iconic figure in his background growing up. He can recall the first time his parents bought a swimming pool and put it in the backyard. And what he's been focusing on, especially during the pandemic, he did start revisiting the series that he started in the 70s. Now, he paints lots of things. He loves doing cityscapes. He does a lot of barns. He has a barn series. If you look at his website, kenrushart.com, you can see several of those different types of series.
His website's fantastic. You have to see the paintings on this. We're just focusing on just one series, but his work. Also, if you look up on YouTube, Ken Rush, he's got this awesome series of videos called Let's Paint. And he is so carefree. He's got an iPhone tilted vertically. He just tilts it towards him and he's like whack, 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 whack,
You
whack.
see him slap on some paint and get to work.
And he's funny.
He's funny.
And he listens to WBGO in Newark, which is the best jazz station on the planet.
Sometimes he talks to his paintings.
Yeah.
He's really great. And then he gets a little bit sidetracked because he'll be drinking like a latte, and then he's like, you know what's a lost art? Making lattes. And then he'll show you in another video how to make a latte.
Yeah.
And he started some of those during the pandemic as well, because he just was trying to find something to do.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because he's carrying on while he's making this painting and mixing paint and talking about the different consistencies of the paint because of different, like concentrations of pigment. Gary Walker from BGO is on in the background talking about a jazz piece, and it's like this cacophony. There's a little bit of an echo.
Yep.
He's got this magnet system on the wall where his paintings can just go snap and then he pulls it off and he moves it over there and he puts another one up there.
His process, he does work on several paintings at a time, and he just kind of keeps rotating them. And within an hour, he's got several going, so it's constant motion there.
Ben says, this reminds me of the movie The Swimmer, which I'm not familiar with. 63 says, BGO rocks. Well, I guess that's not totally correct. Good one, correct. Talking about the last day of summer. I'm not familiar with that movie, Ben. I want to look that one up. I mean, I'm not going to do it this second, but I'm gonna get to that. So Ken Rush's paintings are fantastic. Let's go through a few of them just to kind of talk about his work in general. Let's see, we've got another one here. I kind of put these in an order where we move from. He kind of has this shift in his work if you look through these paintings where, I mean, look at this. We've got this aerial view. We've got pool noodles, floaties, people, stairs, a diving board. We've got some detail. But then we start to back away from that a little bit. The scene becomes a little bit lonelier. It becomes a little bit more desolate. There's a bit of a psychology to the painting now.
Yes, and I do want to say, I don't believe he works from any type of models. He really goes off of his memories for some of these pools. And he was even saying one of the things he grew up with was, you know, New York suburbs and pools and pool culture and country clubs and the ocean and the beach. So it was a big part of the fabric of him growing up. But that's something that you mentioned, the psychology. And one thing I pick up on, especially in these ones where the perspective is down on the ground and it's looking out past the pool, there is a sense of loneliness in his paintings. There's some mystery. He's got these dark colors in the back in the wooded area, and he's isolating certain parts. You see, like in this one, you're going to see the chair, and some of them you see like a tube floating, and then the shadow. And that's so interesting when you think of a pool in terms of a place for community and playing and laughter and such like that.
He walks this really fine line, and that line sort of divides simplistic and detail, but there's an intrigue on that line for me. Like there in this particular piece, let me see if I can zoom in on it so you can all see a little bit better, but in this particular piece, I really love the way the vertical line on the wall of the pool drops down, and you've got two different panes of blue, and that simple line gives the appearance that the pool noodles float on something transparent, right? Otherwise, they would just be on a blue field. But that one line sort of suggests the depth and then gives this pool an entirely different, you know, pardon the pun, dimension, which I really quite love. And then, you know, if you move on to something like this, which is really zoomed out right now, and I apologize about that, but there's just something about the simple geometries of pool shapes surrounded by this heavy white, for you Illustrator users out there, stroke. It's really, they're really quite interesting, and they become almost like you know, something out of the microscope, like a paramecium, or you know, there's like there's an algae-like quality to it. It starts to sort of flesh out a lot of other ideas around the way these things live in the landscape, right? Especially from the aerial view. Like I love being on a plane and looking down and seeing these little crystalline blue shimmering
gems.
shapes on the ground. So I love this painting for that.
Yeah. I will say 63 picked up on something. He says it has a Hockney vibe.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
It does.
You were too.
I was. And actually, he does admit that he spent a little bit of time in London, junior year of college. And one of the things he was studying at that point was Hockney's painting. So there is a little bit of influence on this particular subject matter. But yeah, I see that too.
I will say, while I probably can't paint like Hockney, just because it's not really my thing, I'd love to dress like Hockney. Hockney's got the most awesome sense of style. And at, I don't know, 450 years old, he's a fairly old man, but he wears it so well. Like when I'm Hockney's age, I want to look like that guy. As a matter of fact, we should pull up a picture of him, an older picture of him. I will see if I can do that. Do you want to jump ahead and do you want to start talking about the next artist? I mean, we're gonna.
And this is just like a summer kind of casual.
That's right. We're not digging deep
we're
tonight.
Not digging too deep.
We're not digging deep. We've got 3 artists tonight that all kind of.
Yeah, but Ken Rush, he is definitely somebody to check out. He does lots of different paintings. Like I said, sometimes they get way more detailed than this, especially some of his cityscape work. But barns, rural areas, this suburban culture back from the 60s has a little vintage flashback feel.
And I'll tell you what, if you're a collector and you're looking to pick up work for a reasonable price that I think is worth way more than he charges for it, Ken Rush is your man. Now, you can pick up, I believe, Court Tree Collective in Brooklyn has his work. So if you go to the Court Tree Collective website, you can buy his paintings, and they're reasonable. Like, you can pick up a painting for about $800. Or less, I think, in some cases.
In some cases, I will say he did have a show with them earlier in the year.
Yes, he did.
And it was called Poolside. It was December through March 2021. So that just wrapped up not too long ago.
Right, but if you were looking for like an entry-level painting that wasn't going to get you way into 4 figures and you wanted to collect somebody that was really good, Ken Rush is your man. So, think about that. Could be for you. All right, so let's...
And do we have his... Instagram? I'll just tell you what it is. It's at Ken Rush Art. You can also follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, given his name and the brevity of his name, Ken Rush Art tends to be, I think that's the website. It's also the Instagram.
It's also the Instagram.
Ken Rush Art.
Ken Rush Art.
All right, so let's pull up our next artist, and you can start talking about him while I find some.
Sure.
I want to find.
Next artist, I kind of came across his work a little while ago, and I loved it for so many reasons: the patterns, the textures, the vibrancy, the colors. This next artist is named Derek Adams. He's in New York based. He's got a BFA from Pratt and MFA from Columbia. And he's had this series, he calls this the Floater series. And predominantly African American people of today, modern context, floating around in a pool in these very colorful, playful ways. And he does use some mixed media. He uses different types of papers, pattern papers, fabrics. He said sometimes he finds his materials at the Dollar Tree or someplace around the neighborhood. He's got a background in painting, collage, sculpture, performance, video, things like that. The Floater series has appeared in a number of shows. The most recent one was over at the Hudson River Museum in a show called Buoyant, which finished last June. But quite a number of paintings appeared in that. He does mention that it is a very charged show. And I think Amy Sherald said it best, and I'm going to not get her quote right, but she did say that, I believe she said black bodies are political. So whenever you depict black figures in art, it becomes a political topic. He just wanted to go back to neighborhoods and communities, and he realized in painting black people in repose, and he did mention this in an interview, he realized it might be a charged visual for some people. I love them. I love this whole series. I find so much humor and joy in them. So we're going to show you a couple of these.
I love this one of the kid on the great white shark with, I want to say that the bathing suit is part of the Maryland flag. And I don't know if that's a direct reference to things like, shark sightings on the East Coast, blah, blah, blah. But there is something, there's something really endearing about this as a, great white floaty that he's riding on. But I do love the sense, there is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor in here, which helps to electrify that charge a little bit, right? Because to sort of evoke or transmit that kind of joy, right, that he's trying to sort of place in these, that little bit of a sense of humor also says, it gives it a sense of carefree. It helps to elevate those paintings to that place, which I think is what he's talking about when he says this might be something new for people.
Well, now listening to him talk too, and he has a studio, and it's almost like a brownstone in I think Bed-Stuy or something like that in Brooklyn neighborhood. But he likes that people actually come off the street and talk to him about paintings. He says he's interested in painting paintings that everyday people would like, and he specifically said not necessarily in the art world. He wants to know what the average person wants to see and what does he want to see. So he went with this innate feeling of wanting to paint figures in the pool, relaxing, maybe capturing some of the vibe that he felt when he was growing up. I will say his figures, the way in which he portrays figures, you do see that cubist element, not necessarily with this one. There's a lot of other examples that you could see that.
And definitely in this one.
Definitely in this one. I love his,
This is so
I love
awesome.
how he uses light with the figure. I love how he uses the light to depict the depth of certain, facial elements.
The way things protrude and recede on
and
the face.
even when he does hair, he's got a beautiful way of doing this gray black alternate.
Well, I can jump to that. I mean, look at this guy's
and
hair.
This guy's hair.
It's fantastic.
And I just love how he captures like anatomy and physiology and these basic abstracted shapes, but yet it's got that cubist throwback and it's got these beautiful colors. I love how playful he is with the floats. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's definitely got that summer vibe, and overly, Ken Rush's paintings are they have like a loneliness to them, or a distance to them. These were in them, right? Where these are much more inviting. We're much more sort of in the space of the figure.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in Ken Rush's paintings, I'm standing at a distance from those scenes.
I do want to say too, the scale, these are pretty big. They're several feet by, I'm sorry, that's so
almost human.
big,
Well, they're human scale.
Yeah, but they're almost human scale. Ken Rush's paintings are much more small.
Yeah, some of the pool paintings are like 11 by 14.
Yes.
They're much more intimate.
Yeah, but I imagine that when you're by these like up close and with that scale and with that color and with those shapes and with the subject material and the playfulness, I would have loved to have seen this show.
This is something to remember when you're looking at work, is, size is something to be thought about in a painting. A smaller piece is going to draw you in, and you don't even realize it, but you're closer to it. Your proximity changes. Your gaze changes. You're drawn in. It's almost like when you're talking to someone on the street and they talk so quietly, you have to get closer to them to hear it. Whereas in a situation like the Derek Adams paintings, they're very large. You feel like your body and their bodies are sort of in the same physical space, right? And I can stand at a distance that, number one, allows it to sort of encompass my vision, right? And I feel a physical connection on some level that's not this, close examining kind of thing, right? It's a more physical connection here. This is a more intimate and precious kind of examination.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like that about those. I grabbed some pictures of, well, let's look at one more by Derek Adams. And I like this one because the pool floaties of the two people that are sort of in the ground and further up, like their arms are in them.
Yeah.
Right? The one guy's in the flamingo.
I'm not taking that. I feel like they're standing in the water, and that's just the rings around them.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
You're
but
right.
the flamingo, like his use of these floaties is a riot, and he knows it. He's especially when we go back to the other one, he painted the gold chain on the one floaty and the gold tooth, and just the use of joy.
Well, I mean, let's just even talk symbolically. You've got what appear to be a man and a woman next to each other, kind of like in postures that seem to be almost like they've just met.
Yeah.
And then this dude floats by with this giant flamingo head between his legs that perfectly cuts them in half, which suggests a whole lot just about the tension that's present in the painting.
For their relationship.
I like that. It's a little foreshadowing. It's like, so what's your sign?
That's
I mean,
the narrative.
but I like that. I think that's a really, there's that humor again, right?
Yes.
So
indeed. So Derek Adams.
Derek Adams, definitely somebody to look at. Love
Yeah.
his work.
Yeah, and I'll give you the information on him. He is DerekAdams.com. His Instagram is @DerekAdamsNewYork. So pretty cool.
Hockney.
Hockney.
Hockney, just
He's
to get
adorable.
I want to dress like Hockney.
I could see you dressing like Hockney.
Well, give me. I mean, I think I got another. I don't know, 30 years.
Yeah,
before
that's what I meant.
I'm
I
pulling
meant
that
later.
off. Okay.
I meant later.
Right.
Yes.
But I mean, look at this. Look at this picture of him painting. He's got this like sailor's shirt on with these purple suspenders.
He's
I mean, his pants are
cute.
hiked all the way up his back, but it's kind of
Adorable.
awesome. Let's give away a pin.
Oh, let's give away a pin.
You guys want a pin?
Let's ask a question. You do. We got some trivia for you.
63 says the difference between whispering and shouting. Yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to ask the trivia question?
I don't have that.
It's on the
Is it
it's on the board
thing?
up there. It's the top one.
Oh.
Oh, it's you.
It's,
Should I?
It's about me.
It's about
It's
you.
about me. Who did I dress up as in episode 40?
Okay, that wasn't that long ago. That was 15 episodes ago.
That was 15 episodes. 16. Well, 16.
16 episodes
Yeah.
ago. Who did Terri dress up like in episode 40? First one to type it in the chat
Wins.
wins a pin.
Wins a pin. I have to start making notes on who's winning.
We got
too.
Boo Jazz and Jess Park have won pins so far.
Okay.
Good try, Mom. It's not Frida Kahlo.
I did dress
Pumpkin
up like
Audrey.
her.
You did dress up like her in an episode, but not in 40. Good guess.
Good guess. We do need those kazoos.
I know.
You'd be so
That would be
good.
hilarious.
That'd be a riot.
John Park says Princess Leia. No. And
but
Ben
Ben.
Hagenbush wins a pin
Very
with
good.
Ali Sheedy. Good job,
Ali
Ben.
Sheedy,
Ben's
good
on the
job.
ball. Ali Sheedy when she had
Ben
her
wins
hair
the
all down in
pin.
front of her face. So Ben's
Yes.
got a pin on the way. Nice work. Nice work.
Very nice.
And let's
All right,
see.
and
We
we
got
have one more artist for you tonight.
we still have 2 pins to give
We
away.
do.
Should
We
we
have-
do one more?
Yeah, let's do one right now.
All right.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Who did I dress up like in episode 6? Episode 6. Who did I dress up like? That's not an easy one. You know what?
It's a hard one, actually.
It's a hard
I think
one.
it's a hard
It's
one.
way back. First of all, the episode was a monumental disaster.
Ben
Techno-
Hagenbush says Han.
Ben is wrong,
No.
unfortunately. Pumpkin Audrey is
Almost.
wrong, unfortunately.
You're
on the
track,
right track,
though.
but you're wrong. Ben got another one.
Yes.
He did.
Good.
Ben, you got it. You got it. Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
That's right.
Patrick Stewart, Mom says, yeah, well, I didn't dress up like Patrick Stewart. I would have had to, first of all, I would have had to have been trained in the art of Shakespearean theater.
Yes.
And then, I didn't shave my head for it, but, all right, Ben, good job.
Good job, Ben.
You know, I gotta say this, when it comes to stuff like this kind of trivia with stuff that's watched and absorbed, you guys are gonna have a hard time beating Ben. He's like an
He's on it.
encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So, maybe figure out where he lives, drive over there, knock out his internet, and then, by the time we get to the next thing, you'll have a shot at it.
Yes.
My mom's like, yeah, you did get it. That episode was a disaster, and I figured out why 3 weeks after it happened. And it's a very long story. Nobody really cares, but that was so frustrating that night. I wanted to die. We put so much into that episode, and it just
Yeah.
it exploded.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another artist.
Let's do another
Let's look at
artist.
someone else.
Wait, before we do that, do you have a favorite episode that we did?
I totally have a favorite episode.
Yeah.
Wait, do you guys have a favorite episode? Can you put it in the chat? What was your favorite episode? Not to make this all about us, but it's about us tonight. What was your favorite episode? I want to know. What was yours? Or you want to know mine first?
Well, I can tell you who mine is.
My favorite episode was episode 36.
36.
Yeah. That was May the 4th.
May the 4th.
Star Wars Day.
With
When we
Mike
interviewed Mike Rader live on the show. That was my favorite show. of all time.
Yeah. Good artist. Good dress up
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Ben's like, I had asked you guys a Star Trek question that night. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to be much better at Star Wars trivia than Star Trek, but I think deep down, philosophically speaking, from a storyline standpoint, I relate a lot to Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's not to that is not to sort of deny or throw off my commitment to my Star Wars background. What's your favorite episode?
Well, I love having the live artists on. I do. And there's Jim Osmond was one of my favorite. Christina was one of my favorite. I mean, you can't go wrong when you have a live artist. But I think my favorite episode was actually on Carla Knight, because I felt like that was just when I realized, wow, this is cool what we're doing.
Well, Carla Knight's episode took abstraction for us and made it, and we were able to sort of talk about it in a way that was translatable and palatable. Plus, the work is so good.
So good.
And it's
And
not about
everyone was
it's not about
so
what we
into
did with
it.
it. It's not about what we did with it. The
Everyone
work was just
so
like
into it. I
just
love the discussion
unbelievable.
going on, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Okay, wait, we
So-
got some answers coming here. So Shirley says the one with the artist from Peru, which was Ana Teresa Barbosa.
Yes.
That was a great show.
She was awesome.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. 63 says, enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Just, we're allowed for a night, you know.
Ben loved the Alex Gross episode.
That was also the Halloween episode, because he was one of the 3 artists that we featured.
That's right. That's
for,
right.
Yeah, and he's awesome. I love Alex Gross.
Yeah, no, he's great.
With the cabinet cards. It's the first time we showed him.
Mom loved Double Parlor.
Double Parlor was awesome.
Definitely. Double Parlor was a good one. Pumpkin Audrey says the artist with the giant, loud moving costumes. Sorry, I am a civilian. That was Nick Cave.
Nick Cave.
Yeah, Nick
Yes.
Cave was.
He
Nick
was
Cave
pretty
is
cool,
like,
too.
God, he's such an amazing person, and his work is just like knocks it out of the park every time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you guys have a favorite episode and you want to keep going on that, awesome. Let's talk about our third artist tonight.
Our third artist. Okay. And this is Jessica Brilli. She is somebody I've been following for a couple of years now. I think I used to stalk Ridley Howard's Instagram, and then he was following her, and I was like, who is this that he's following? And that's how I kind of got into her. So I love her work. This year she won the Paula Krasner Foundation grant, so she's up there. What inspires her? She's young, because she's like my age, so she's from New York. She pretty much focuses on a very retro feel when she's depicting her paintings. She usually uses 35mm old Kodachrome photographs that we pretty much all have probably somewhere in our grandparents' shoe boxes or old photo albums or anything like that. Her paintings have a very vintage feel, mid-century modern. When I think of her, I think of Wes Anderson or Mad Men. It's got that kind of vibe to it. So 1960s architecture tends to be her backdrop. In her youth, that's what she remembers. She remembers growing up with these very mid-century homes in the backdrop. What she likes when she's looking at the pictures, because she does draw from old Kodachrome pictures, the sense of color in time. Because when we think of past memories, the material on which we've preserved it has altered our perceptions a little bit, because the color's changing, right? There's that decomposing process. You and I were talking about that the other day, because I pulled out some pictures from a shoebox and I was like, oh my God, they smell weird. And you're like, well, that's because they're decomposing.
Well, when
and
you
stuff.
spend enough time with those images too, you get this sensation that in earlier times, color was much more bland.
Right.
Or orange.
And it does something
Everything
to your
was orange.
memory.
Yeah.
You're like, you tend to think, like, I know this is very naive, but it's almost like your parents lived in a different time with different colors, and of course they didn't.
Well,
you know?
no, they did. They actually did. So there is a, I'm trying to think of his first name.
You mean in recording colors, like photography?
No, there is, I'm going to have to get this name for you because I didn't plan on thinking of this, but there is a writer with the last name of Ball, and he wrote a book about color. And what he does is he rewrites the canon of art history from the perspective of the technological developments in color. And what pushed a lot of what drove painting had to do with colors development, not necessarily what we look at it as. So if you said to me, our parents lived in a different time, well, I will tell you this. In 1975, in our house in Rockaway, New Jersey, was it more orange? Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess
because we
you're
had an
right.
orange, brown, and orange
We all had
shag
that.
carpet.
Yep.
We had
There were these
plaid,
mustard
orange,
yellow
brown, and
telephones and-
orange furniture.
I guess that's true.
You know, people had orange. I mean, there was a lot of that color
The
tonality
color scheme.
that weirdly matches the color of a photograph's decay in a weird kind of
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Philip Ball, thank you, 63. Yes, and it was called Bright World, or I think it's called Bright
Your mom says Harvest Gold Appliances.
Harvest Gold Appliances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called Bright World 63.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's it. But it's
Yeah.
really interesting to think about how, because color is dependent on technology, in that in order to achieve, let's say, a vibrant purple, you need access to the metals that create that purple. And you also need to prepare them in a way that will sort of reflect that purple. You know, just in terms of like color, when we see something like my beer, for example, when we see that amber color, light is hitting this and the beer is absorbing all of the spectrum of light with the exception of amber and reflecting that amber back to your eyes. So just, you know, we don't think about color in these ways, but technologically speaking, color is a very complicated thing. And there are colors in this moment right now that haven't been developed yet, that will be.
Yeah, I guess
Right? And they're
that's
still
true.
working on it. I mean, you think about, what's his name? Anish Kapoor's sort of contract with the government and Vanta Black, right? And now there's this other white that's supposed to be the whitest white, the blackest black.
Right. And I'm also thinking about the pigment library up in Boston and all those
Or
rare
fluorescent
pigments
colors,
or
which is
fluorescent colors.
Tacky, but those were a development that had not existed before. It's not like they could make them and they chose not to.
Yeah.
They weren't available.
Well, she makes a compelling statement in her artist statement on her website where she's saying that color is actually a timestamp. Because when you see the palette that she's using on some of these paintings, that's part of what takes you back to that era.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's Bright Earth. I think the book is Bright Earth or Bright World. There's another interesting thing about these pool pictures for Jessica Brilli that we're looking at here, and I'm starting to realize in relation to Ken Rush's paintings. I'm not sure where Derek Adams' paintings fall in this regard, but when it comes to this kind of poolside imagery, it seems like there are basically two modes, and I think this might just apply to people on the East Coast. I could be totally wrong about this. But
All of our painters are from the East Coast.
I know, and that's what I think is making me think of this. But there's basically, it seems like on the East Coast, when it comes to the genre of pools, right? There seem to be two genres of thinking here. There's the Long Island Hamptons pool, which has that kind of exclusivity, Ken Rush feel to it. Big, giant shrubs, isolated feeling, awkward relationships, distance, right?
Yeah.
And then there is the Wildwood Crest, New Jersey boardwalk motel pool that exists beside that mid-century modern, low structure, lots of doors. There's something about the blue, crisp water against that kind of I need to be fancy hotel, but doesn't.
But doesn't succeed.
But succeeds because
Yeah.
for a kid, that was an extremely exciting
Yes.
visual experience.
It
Right? And
was.
even though you're right next to a road, right next to a hotel where the door
Yeah.
exits into the parking lot, that was That was special.
It was.
It was special. And there's really something about that I love. And I feel like Jessica Briley is the Wildwood Crest pool. Ken Rush is the Long Island pool.
Well, when you look at some of her other paintings as well, they have that sense of American adventure. Not necessarily her pool series. I mean, she does do paintings of pools with the hotel background, but sometimes you feel like it might be in Nevada or something like that. It's got that 1960s swinger kind of feel to it, and
but
I mean, like Rat Pack kind of thing. So
totally. But what happens in that is, let's say it's out west somewhere, right? It's the same thing. Because there is a bleached out blandness to the architecture and the landscape that is sort of supplemented by that bright electric blue. And this is the same thing that happened in that sort of motel pool that I'm talking about. But, you know, it's just kind of an interesting thing. John Park says Kodachrome was a magical, does that say E6? I don't have my glasses on.
It does say E6
E6 film. Digital color is a Pandora's box. Awesome in its own way, but Kodachrome was great. Kodak E100G in 8x10 was another crowning achievement for Kodak. And Tri-X, black and white, of course. Kodachrome and Tri-X definitely shaped the perception of our memories for anyone our age. You know, first of all, number one, that completely illustrates your photography chops, for sure. And I do understand a significant portion of what you're saying there, especially in the realm of film and film preference for photographers, because when you would go to buy film, you know, are you a Kodak person? Are you a Fuji person? You know, like what tonality, what aesthetic do you sort of lean towards? And there were some people that were diehards in that respect, and then there were some people that knew that different brands across different either ASAs or, you know, compositional elements, you know, depending on what they were shooting, would go for. Ben's like all over Wildwood now. He's like, the Regis Hotel, the pool at the Regis was a photographer's dream. Yeah, I actually know a woman who photographs in Wildwood. That's her whole,
That's
like,
her thing.
yeah,
Wow.
because the hotels there are fantastic.
Sure.
63's like Tri-X was always the best. Yeah, I used Tri-X actually. Let's do another one. Let's look at another. Look, I mean, yeah. So like, look at this.
Here,
This is totally what I'm talking about.
Yep, and with the cars, and again, you see the isolation sense, just like Ken Rush kind of has, but in a totally different way. You know, because you don't see any figures. Everything's kind of to itself in relation to each other. There's a certain loneliness once again because there's no figures.
But it's also suggested by the presence of the ladder, suggested by the presence of the cars, right? It's like, you know, these are things that people use, that people aren't here. I also love the way the two strips of blue, sky and pool, reduce this livable area to this really interesting sort of rhomboid kind of strip in the middle of this thing. It's like it's geometry, but it's architectural space. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that comment, but I mean, that's kind of like what I feel about that. And then this one kind of does the same thing, right? The earth is sort of reduced. You know, you've got this, usually when you have in pictorial space, you have foreground, middle ground, background. You've got the ground plane, you've got this middle ground plane, you've got the plane of the sky, the horizon lives in there somewhere. But in this, the ground plane is this water, right? And it sort of takes and almost creates a band of like island-like shelf in the middle where all the detail lives. Wait a minute, I don't have my glasses on,
We've
but
got bots.
W. Muggett, want to become famous?
Yeah.
Buy followers, primes, and viewers.
We don't buy followers.
No, I don't buy followers. There's
We don't
two.
buy followers. Wow.
There's two of them.
That's because we don't have any mods.
We need to boot them. Our mods are. We need mods.
We need mods.
Study up on how to be a Twitch mod, and we will
Yes.
turn you into one. Now, Memory Vessel is one of our Twitch mods, but we could use some more, and we're only going to give those roles out to people that we, you know, well, almost anyone here
Well,
could be
one
one.
or two little comments here and there is like, okay,
Yeah, but
I know.
it spoils the flavor. Let's give another pin away. We're at 9:14.
Yeah. One more.
63 says, I think that's an interesting differentiation from Hockney. His aren't this lonely. And that's true.
That is true.
That's true. There's an odd feeling of both realism and pixelation, smudginess on those pool handrails. Yeah, you know, that's really weird because when you look at these, and I'm sure that my ability to have this on this tiny screen over here isn't doing it justice, but when you look at them up close, it's a handling of paint that is immediate and not trying to be illusionistic, but somehow becomes illusionistic because of what it suggests, right? Which is really quite good.
I think he means the previous one, especially with those.
Oh yeah, no, that's the one actually that I was thinking of because on this one, right, some of those highlights on those rails where the bends are, it's just like this of paint, and it just pops as this really incredible illusion without trying too hard. I like that about that. That's part of the trickery of plein air too, right? Is there's a speed and immediacy to plein air that kind of renders things in that way. Okay, let's do, first of all, let's go here. Another trivia question?
Last one? I think so.
Yeah, for this one, actually, let's go back to this. Let's go back here for a second because for this one we will give a photo answer.
Okay.
All
yes.
right. Do you want to ask it or do you want me to?
Yes. Well, you can ask it if you want. I'm trying to look and see where it is. Oh, I found it.
Okay. So we had a special guest on the show. Special guest on the show in episode 16.
16.
Episode 16. Who was the special guest on the show?
That's right. Darn, we need to buy kazoos. We're doing it.
I like the idea of a kazoo, but I think that.
Do you prefer a kazoo or a recorder?
Oh God, a kazoo over a recorder any day.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, even better than both of those would be the melodica.
The melodica.
Yeah,
oh, is that the
thing with the tube? Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, melodica.
Okay.
It's got keys. Who was the special guest? Episode 16 for a pin. Come on, you guys.
Come on, guys.
You got this one. Just start hammering in every person, every entity that was ever on this show. I think I had a hand puppet once, didn't I?
No, you didn't. Did you bring a hand puppet on the show once?
I think there's fruit flies in my beer.
Oh. That's not good. It's kind of gross.
Nobody?
Nobody?
Nobody in the chat?
I'll give you a hint.
No hints. They're looking right now. They're off on the website right now, looking at episode 16. Oh, Mom is the winner. Yes. Mom, you get a pin. Yes. Oh, good try, John. You missed it.
Baby.
Mom got you by a smidge on that one.
Smidge.
And just for proof, here is a picture.
There she is.
That was our New Year's Eve show.
She's a lot bigger right now.
Yeah, she actually causes pain when she gets on you at this point.
Yes.
But that's maybe.
That's maybe.
And
maybe your baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she was the special guest on episode 16.
That's right.
Yeah, Mom finally got a pin. Mom, I will never, for the meantime, I won't accuse you of winning all the prizes. So good job to you, Mom.
Good job.
All right, so that's 5 pins out the door.
5 pins out the door.
We have gone through our list of all of our artists for the evening.
Yeah.
I do have a quote to part with.
Okay.
Not that we're gonna part this second, but I am almost at the bottom of my giant glass of beer. Should we get a quote going?
We should.
All right, I can do that. All right, so first of all, in the academic realms, there is a very famous nun that taught at a Catholic institution called the Immaculate Heart College, and there was an art department at the Immaculate Heart College that a woman named Sister Carita Kent used to have a sign posted on her door that were the rules of the art department at the Immaculate Heart College. And it, in a weird kind of way, before the age of, really before the age of the internet, kind of went viral. It was adopted by art and design professors all over the world, and really are 10 rules for creative people that are really just kind of either getting started or, you know, and one of the reasons I brought this up tonight was because our good friend Pumpkin Audrey, who's in this chat right now, showed us that she's making art now, and she never did before. And she told us directly that it was because she started watching this show that she felt inspired to make something and put it in the world, which I have to say, if there is one moment in this show that I would say says this was a success this year, right? That would be it. And I know there's many more, but that one really touched me, and I felt like that was so important. And so I thought, well, you know, if you're out there and you don't call yourself an artist, that's a hard thing to do, right? But you have creative urges, you have you know, a creative bug in you, then Sister Corita Kent's 10 rules are definitely for you. So let's take a look at those right now. And I'm going to read them off. I'm not going to be able to read them off without my glasses, so I have to pull up a special handicapped image that's going to allow me to see them. So just give me 1 second to get to that. I'll need a second to get my special image up. So here they are. The Immaculate Heart College Art Department rules. Rule 1, find a place you trust and then try trusting it for a while. Rule 2, general duties of a student. Pull everything out of your teacher. Pull everything out of your fellow students. Now, of course, you're not in a formal institution necessarily, but this applies. Rule number 3, general duties of a teacher. Pull everything out of your students. One of the reasons I'm reading this very thing this night, not that you are my students, but I think these types of relationships are like that, right? Rule number 4, consider everything an experiment. Rule number 5, be self-disciplined. This means finding someone wise or smart and choosing to follow them. To be disciplined is to follow in a good way. To be self-disciplined is to follow in a better way. Rule number 6, nothing is a mistake. There's no win and no fail. There's only make. I like that one. Although I have a whole other conversation about failure as a good teaching tool, but let's leave that alone for now. Rule number 7, there's a reason this is in large type because it's probably the most important one. The only rule is work. If you work, it will lead to something. It's the people who do all of the work all of the time who eventually catch on to things. Rule number 8, don't try to create and analyze at the same time. They're different processes. Do your work. Think about it later. Rule number 9, be happy whenever you can manage it. Enjoy yourself. It's lighter than you think. So many people get caught up in that kind of dismay, that existential dread. Enjoy yourself. Rule number 10, we're breaking all of the rules, even our own rules. And how do we do that? By leaving plenty of room for X quantities. That's a quote from John Cage, one of my favorite composers and musicians of all time. Helpful hints, always be around. Come or go to everything, always go to classes, read anything you can get your hands on, look at movies carefully, often, save everything. It might come in handy, unless you got that hoarder gene, then, you know, we'll work on culling that stuff. It might come in handy later. And then the last thing is there should be new rules next week. I love this. I love Sister Corita Kent. I think this is such valuable information for anyone who might be setting out there to, you know, start to make something. So keep those in mind. Pumpkin Audrey's like, I love nuns. That's not something you hear every day.
No. I like nuns too. They're all right.
And everybody's given Audrey a little bit of support, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Right? You know, that's one of the main things.
That's why we do this.
That's why we do this. Well, it's that time.
It's that time.
And if we had those kazoos, I'd start probably playing either like, I don't know, what would we play if we had canoes as a closing? That's a way to get around the DMCA. We could play our songs on kazoos. We could play Frank Sinatra.
We could.
We could play Neil Diamond.
We could. Yes.
We could play
You can
Doja
play all
Cat.
kinds of stuff. Yes.
You're welcome, Dave. All right. Anyway, to all of you, thanks for supporting us over this whole year. 56 episodes. It's awesome. We just want to plow ahead and keep doing this. We could play Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually be space. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Here we go. Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her continuing mission, to seek out new life, to explore strange new galaxies, to boldly go where no one has gone.
They didn't say no man. They said no one. All right, I'll stop that.
Ben, great show.
Everybody's like, good night, Todd.
Cut this guy
Put
off.
your fishbowl away. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for all of your support. We love you. We hope to see you for another 56 episodes this upcoming year.
Yeah, we can all do it.
We can do this.
We can do this.
All right, have a great week. We will see you next week for Alana Clark.
Yeah.
Awesome artist. You're going to like this one.
Yeah.
Catch you soon. Cheers to all of you.